afternoon, good evening, whatever time of day it may be for you. We are once again visiting our fair and dark city of Zooster. This evening, we have a special treat as Seth Cardigan, practicing priest for the Firefly Pack, is taking recruitment into his own hands, and we're going to meet a new member of our Undead Society this evening. By the end of tonight, anyhow. So, Mr. Winston is arriving home from an evening of getting his groceries.
Yeah.
And I need you to make a perception alertness roll.
Okay. And it's 10-sided dice we're using, right?
Yeah.
There we go.
The difficulty will be 6.
Then success is 5, right? Or 6?
It'll be 6 or higher, and your 1 will cancel out the 9.
Okay, so I have 1 success.
Okay. So as you're walking through your apartment, home, things seem, there's just kind of like a weird feeling you're getting that things seem a little bit out of place. Nothing seems missing, but you kind of get that odd feeling like somebody else has been there since the last time you were there.
Yeah. So, Winston Russell comes home, and he immediately has this eerie sense of something being wrong, but he can't put his finger on it. Given his profession as a horror writer, he chalks it up to simply paranoia made from his own creations. So as he checks around his house and sees everything is in its places, nothing is missing, so he hasn't been burglarized, he just, I don't know, shrugs it off and proceeds to try to make himself something to eat.
Okay. Alrighty, and as he is busy in the kitchen, I'll need you to roll a stamina roll.
One success.
1 success. Okay. So something presses up against your back, and a huge jolt of electricity courses through your body, and you drop to the ground, twitching around a little bit, and a bag is put over your head, and your twitching body is dragged out into the living room.
Am I still conscious?
You are still conscious, but you are a little bit in shock. You took quite a bit of an electrical jolt.
Literally in shock, yeah. Okay, I as much as I can, which is probably not a lot, I try to scream for help, and I'm not really thinking straight at the moment, I'm guessing. So I try to struggle as best I can.
Okay, if you want to struggle, you can make a strength brawl check.
A strength what check?
A strength and brawl.
Okay, I don't have anything in brawl, so
It'll just be your strength, and you'll have a 1 dice penalty.
Okay, so I'm guessing it won't do much good at all. No, 5. No successes.
All right. You can hear the sound of duct tape and feel your arms being brought straight out to your sides and being taped to what feels like is either a broom or a hockey stick. It's hard for you to tell.
Yeah. Well, have I stopped twitching, by the way?
You've stopped twitching. You're gonna be able to.
Okay, good. Well, then I scream, "Who are you? And what do you want?"
You feel a face come really close to the sack over your head, and hear a voice say, where does your sense of fear come from, Winston? Where does your sense of fear come from? You create for other people. Where's your fear coming from right now?
Well, I'm a little bit flabbergasted by that question, but I try to compose myself as best I can in this kind of crazy situation. So I say, well, I don't know, from my imagination, I guess. Who are you?
Your imagination. So where's your imagination taking you right now as what's going to happen to you? What is it that you're truly afraid of happening right now?
I don't know. What do you what do you want? You can just, if you want, like, just take what you want and go. Leave me alone.
Tell me a story, Winston. Tell me, what is the worst thing you can picture happening to you right now? Write your way out of this. What is the worst thing that could be happening to you?
That you'll kill me? What? But why would you do that? I haven't. You can. If just take what you want. I don't. The worst thing that could happen is that you kill me, I guess.
Really? Your literary gift and genius tells you that death is going to be the worst thing that could happen?
The worst real thing, yes.
The worst real thing. My dear, dear friend, there are worse horrors in this world than just dying. I think the news would be able to give you more creative ideas on what the worst thing that could happen to somebody is.
But like you don't you don't gain anything from doing this to me. Like, if you want money, just take it. And, like,
well, I like your mindset that if you want something, you just take it. That shows that you have some general sense of how life is. But really, you think dying is going to be the worst thing that can happen to you. But what's going to happen to you then after you die?
I don't have nothing, I guess. Or what if what Pastor Jenkins told me when I was little is true, I go to heaven. But those are basically the two options. I mean.
Nothing or two options. That is true. That is true that there is many different things that could happen to us after we die. But I'll tell you that all those options, all those stories you were told, are going to pale in comparison with what the truth and the reality is going to be. You need to be able to open your mind to what could happen, Winston. You're creative. What's going to happen to you? I want you to tell me.
I don't know. I don't know what's going to happen to me. Like, you control what's happening to me right now. I don't know.
I do. That is true. And I want you to remember that, because even after tonight, I will control what happens to you for a great many nights.
What do you mean?
But the cards led me to this address, and I was perusing your library, It looks like there's quite a few books here, paperback with your name on it. Very impressive. I scanned some of them. I haven't had much time to read lately, but perhaps if you can point out some, that would be the best. What would you suggest for a first-time reader of yours?
Um, 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 I maybe the uh, his brain is working feverishly as he's trying to come up with literary advice while basically fighting for his life also. Well, maybe the one called the tale the tale from the crypt. I mean that was my first, and it had good reviews. But maybe that one.
Just give me a moment, and you can hear that he's walking away from you, but at the same time, from his last little conversation with you, he has very much amped up your emotional response. So whatever you're feeling, you're now feeling it like 5 times as intensely.
And that feeling is terror. So at the moment, the terror is undescribable. He doesn't really try to like and someone else in this situation would probably take the chance to maybe run away while the attacker is not right next to him, but fear has paralyzed him. So he's just lying there trying to get a hold of himself and not really having all that much luck doing it.
Okay. The individual returns and kind of leans and puts a little bit of weight on his body as he does so. He's flipping through. Can you give me a brief synopsis? This is a pretty thick book. I don't think we have time tonight to read the whole thing.
It's about it's about this man who tries to who wants to see his dead wife again, and then he seeks out the like the place where she's buried, and then he makes a deal with the devil to get her back, and it doesn't work. The devil tricks him, and he goes to hell.
Ah, I see. So what would you be willing to give up to get yourself out of this situation? What would you give up to get out of your situation right now?
And anything. Just tell me what you want, and I'll give it to you. Just leave me alone.
It's not what I want. The Dark Father led me to your house. I was seeking somebody of like mind. I'm going to expand your horizons. I'm going to expand your mind. But as I'm sure one of your inspirations would have said, even the greatest of horrors, irony is seldom absent. Expanding your mind is always at a cost. Do you want to see true horror, Winston?
No, I want you to leave me alone. Who's this Dark Father? What are you talking about?
I will provide you with so much inspiration, you won't know what to do with it. You will tell grand tales in real life and not just in print.
Oh, okay. Whatever you say. Just
All right.
leave me alone.
Whatever I say. Good. We're on the same page. We're gonna go for a bit of a trip. We're gonna go for a little drive. Yes. I'm going to let you come back home at the end of the night. But if you come with me, and if you stay quiet, you will return home at the end of the night. Fair?
Mm-hmm.
All right.
Tries to nod inside the.
So he feels himself being dragged to the back door. His arms kind of hit the sides of the doorway at first, and then is roughly slid sideways so that he can fit through the doorway as his arms are still duct taped prostrate against some sort of wooden board.
Yeah.
And he gets dragged roughly down the back steps and across the backyard. Again.
Hang on a sec.
Yeah.
There we go. Sorry. Yeah. Coming in.
So you're roughly dragged across the backyard, running in again to the back gate before being roughly tossed over a shoulder. Your head's kind of smacking into a heavy backpack, and then you hear sounds, and then it sounds like a car trunk opened, and you're kind of roughly folded in on top of something else, and the trunk is closed.
During this whole ordeal, I tried to stay as quiet as possible because he said that if I stayed quiet, I would get to go home.
Okay,
so
make a willpower roll because your emotions are very much enhanced.
Yeah, definitely. Actually, I spent a lot of points on willpower, freebie points on willpower, so I have willpower 8.
Nice.
That doesn't give me 8 dice, right?
Yeah, that's 8 dice for you.
Oh, wow. Okay. So 1, 2, 3. Difficulty 6, I take it.
Yeah. So yeah, you're internalizing a lot of your anguish right now.
Yeah.
You can make a perception alertness roll as well while you're in the trunk, to try to fight through some of the feelings that you're dealing with.
1, 2, 3, 4. Yeah.
Okay. So there is somebody else in the trunk with you, and they are kind of twitching, and you can hear some muffled sounds.
Okay. Well, he stays quiet, even though he is of course freaked out of his mind, and especially about this, also about this new person in the trunk with him. He tries to force himself to not say anything because he's in that paranoid state where he thinks that any sound he makes, the guy who put him in the trunk will hear, and then he won't get to go home. So he tries his best to not to pretend that the other person in the trunk isn't there, and try to like go to his happy place or something.
Okay.
As much as if that's even possible in this situation, I don't think so. But
eventually, you feel the car's movement stop. The motor you can hear is still running, and you can hear the door close, and then the trunk gets popped and opened up. So Winston, you've done very well so far. Do you think you're on your way to be able to get out of this?
You said that if I didn't, that I could go home.
That is true. That is true. How's your source of fear right now?
It's huge. I mean, I'm scared. What do you?
Well, they say that it is a fearful thing to fall in the hands of a living God. And no doubt, this is probably one of the most terrifying experiences we all go through. But you are doing very well. Very impressive.
He steals
Are you
himself a
ready?
little with that remark.
I have one more task for you that I need you to do so that you can get home tonight.
Uh, what is it?
We are all purified with blood, and without shedding blood, there's no remission for what we have done. I will give you,
Okay.
if you are worthy, I will give you that which will spring forth like eternal life within you, bring you to the source of true horrors, because I think you already have tapped into that source of horror and have an insight that just needs a little push in the right direction.
Well, he obviously thinks that you are batshit insane. Dingo ate my baby insane, but he plays along because he wants to go home. So he says, "What do you want me to do?"
He pulls the bag off of your head, and you can see that he does actually kind of look as batshit crazy as you'd expect. He's wearing a bit of a disheveled suit. His eyes are wide, and he's got a wreath around his head with barbed wire entwined around it. But the thing that you're probably gravitating on most are the two large fangs that are extending out of the sides of his upper mouth.
I take a look at him, and then in his present state, I'm pretty sure that he is not going to be very good at trying to conceal his emotions of shock and horror at your appearance. So he just gasps in horror and looks at you and say, "What are you?" Just in order to say something, because the fangs give away what you look like. But he's of course still in a position where vampires are something he writes about and not something that's real.
Winston, I am the living God that you are fearing right now. But I will make you one as well. For whoever drinks of my blood shall have eternal life. And you have grand future ahead of you. And he leans forward and he sinks his teeth into your shoulder and starts drinking very, very, very swiftly. So it's more of a painful process than the pleasure that the canite bite normally gives. But there is still that bit of pleasure inducement as well, so you're getting very much conflicting emotions over the sensations. He's drinking quickly and also being pretty frivolous in allowing you to bleed more than what he's drinking, because he wants you to be conscious, or as close to consciousness as possible, when he goes to the next part. So as he pulls off of you, and he seems to almost like he's taking a deep breath, like, thank you, Winston. I will share some of your horrific insights tonight, I am sure. But now is time for you to be purified from my blood. And you can see that he forcefully bites his own tongue and leans in and starts bleeding into your mouth.
And Winston is he's horrified at what's happening and tries to twist and turn his head a little bit, because like the taboo with blood is still fighting in him with his fear, and which side wins is not really.
Make another willpower roll. As your body is going to be starting to shut down on you, let's see how long you can keep yourself. So that's
I
second.
forgot to clear the other ones.
Yeah. Oh, that's a very good roll though on that second roll. So
that's an insane roll.
You are able to. Your eyesight's starting to fade. You can feel that your heart has basically stopped, and as you are turned around and put back into the trunk, you can see that there is still a individual kind of struggling in a sleeping bag, and as consciousness starts to fade from you, the trunk is closed behind you. Do you want to clear your dice roll there?
Yeah, that's getting confusing.
And then, for an unknown amount of time, as you are not conscious when you're dead, you suddenly awaken with feeling like your entire body's on fire. The sensation is horrendous, and there is a gnawing hunger that's not just in the pit of your stomach, but seems to be coursing through your heart, your limbs, everything of you. You will be instantly, or actually, you know what? You get one dice to roll, because I wouldn't have given you much blood back, but you would have a little bit at least. So you get to roll one dice for self-control, because you can't roll more than you have blood in your system.
9. Okay.
9. So you're struggling. You can't quite stop yourself from frenzying. So roll a couple more times. Let's see if you're actually able to pull that off. I think it's 3 successes you need over.
What? Okay.
All right, so you actually managed to not instantly go into frenzy, but you have a very strong hunger. There's a faint reddish glow, and you didn't realize at first, but you realize that you're underwater, and the movements of the sleeping bag is slowing down. They're not as vicious, but something inside of you is screaming subtextually for you to attack and feed.
And we're still in the trunk, right?
You are still in the trunk, and your arms are still taped to that stick.
Okay. And so I at the moment I don't really have enough composure to try to convince myself to not attack the guy in the sleeping bag. So I try, but since my hands I struggle against my my hands being tied, because I want to like get them out so I can use them. And what would that be? That would be
a strength check.
Roll.
Strength roll. Clear the old dice, and then you can.
$10-6.
Nice. All right. I'll say that you are able to. The duct tape gives, so you pull at least one of your arms off of the. Well, it was a broom, so you've got a broom still taped to one of your arms, but one of your arms is free.
And I use that arm to try to open the sleeping bag with in front of me.
Okay. So by the time you get the sleeping bag open, there is a guy. He's trussed up with duct tape over his mouth. His eyes are kind of fluttering a little bit, and it's apparent that he is starting to succumb to drowning.
Okay. And I assume that that seeing him still alive, but only barely, if I get it right, gets my like intensifies my desire to attack.
Yeah.
So I I don't know if I lose control or if I just decide to do it. But in any case, I bite into his I instinctively bite into his exposed neck. Hello? Are you still there? Hello? Um, I don't really know what happened. My internet connection is working fine. Hello?
All right.
Can you hear me?
As disruption on my end, I guess.
Ah, okay.
So that. So
Yeah, you are not going through clearly.
you can hear me now, Mark?
Yeah, now I can hear you.
All right, excellent. So so when we left off, you were feeding off of the guy in the trunk.
Yeah.
All right. So you are able to get yourself to your full blood pool there, and now you are definitely in control of yourself and are in a submerged trunk.
Okay.
What do you
Well,
do?
the first order of business is to get my other hand free. So I try to pull that off with my free hand, and since I'm now in control of myself, I don't really think that it should be that difficult.
No, that part's not
Uh,
difficult.
so, and then I need to claw my way out of the trunk, which is probably going to be more difficult. Uh, so first he tries to kick against the the door of the trunk, which should be a strength, dexterity, or just strength.
It'd be if you're just for kicking, but if you're trying to just basically just for kicking it would be Dex and Brawl.
Okay.
Underwater and in confined spaces, I'd say you'd have a 1 dice penalty.
Yeah, and since I don't have anything in Brawl, I don't have any die left. Okay.
Okay. So you're lashing your leg out in the water, and
Yeah.
you're touching the trunk, but you're not able right now to do it with any sort of force. However, if you're trying really hard, you're going to start subconsciously pumping blood into your physical stats. So if your dex is that low, you can give yourself a temporary 1 dice boost. So that'll give you 1 dice for the second time that you try.
Okay. My dex is 2, so if I have 1 die, so I have 1 die to roll to try to get out of this. Here goes. Clear. Clear. Ha! 10.
10. All right, excellent. So now make a roll strength for damage.
Strength, that's 2.
You're having really good luck with your dice today. Holy crap.
Yeah, really, it's insane. 1 success.
Okay. All right. So you kick it. It hits, but it's not going to be enough to break the clasp on at the end of the trunk.
Okay.
You try again.
Okay. Well, yeah. I'll. Right now, Mark's imagination isn't really all that good in trying to figure this out, so I'll just try to kick again.
Okay.
And I failed.
Okay. All right. So the water is proving to make it difficult for you to try to kick to get it open.
Yeah. Well, since I haven't really, is it the kind of car where you can get from the trunk to the front of the car, so to speak, or is it confined?
You can give that a try. Does Winston know anything? Does he have like craft vehicle or?
No, he has drive, but that's it. And he has skills. No, he has drive and firearms, which isn't going to help him anything. Yes. Yeah, and then the only other thing he has is alertness and awareness, but that's not really going to help him. He knows where he is. He's trying to get out of it. And I am at an impasse. He has 4 intelligence though, but that's not really going to help him much either. He can. Is there anything in the trunk with which he can try to... This is a stupid question, but I don't have a car or a driver's license yet. So, can you pick the lock of a trunk from the inside if you have something to pick it with? Does that make sense? Ha! Did I lose again, by the way?
Can you hear me now, Mark?
Yeah, now I can.
I have no idea what the problem is. Anyhow, so you are in a trunk,
Yeah.
and
Um,
do you have
how much of
any knowledge?
how much? Come again?
Do you have any knowledge or anything on vehicles for you to be able to?
No, the only thing I have is drive, and that's not going to help him much right now. And then he has uh, okay alertness and awareness, but that doesn't help either because he knows where he is. Um,
Well, if you want to
wits
try, you
maybe.
can try to see if you can get it pop open or anything
Yeah.
through the
Well, the
seat.
only thing I know how to is to try to continue to do what he's been doing so far, but not by now the water is probably going to make that difficult. Um, can you pick? No, you can't.
You can make a perception alertness roll.
Yeah.
Okay, make a perception alertness. See what you see within the trunk.
Yeah. There's the perception alertness. Well, of course, there's the zipper from the other guy's sleeping bag, but you can't pick something from the inside. Um,
No. So if you
three
make a
three
perception
successes.
alertness.
Yeah, I did. Nine,
Uh,
10, 6.
so one success because the ones take out the 9 and the
Oh
10.
yeah, exactly. Yeah.
So there is a tire iron, there is the broom, and there is a jack in the back trunk as well.
Ah. Well, then he wants to. Then he tries to. He takes the tire iron and tries to, in like, desperation, I guess, hit the locking mechanism for the the door to fly open.
Okay, so you can make your dex roll. You're feeling pretty desperate at this moment, so let's say you're subconsciously also probably pumping to your strength.
So
So
that's
you'll have roll your dex again.
my dex. One success.
Okay, and now so when you roll the damage, you'll have strength plus 1 because you're using the tire iron plus another 1 if you've pumped to your strength.
Yeah. So that's 2 dice, right?
Yeah, on top of what your regular strength would be.
Ah, okay. My regular strength is 2, so that's 4. 2 successes.
Okay, so you've made a dent between your 2 strikes, and especially with the weight of this one. The one will get rid of your 1 success, but you still have 1 success. So you are doing damage to the clasp that's holding the trunk closed.
And you said I had the tire iron that I'm using. Then I had a jack, but I don't really have the freedom of movement to use that
No.
all that much, I think. I'm sorry, but all I can think about is trying to beat that crappy lock open again.
Okay, keep wailing on it. And if you got a strength of 2, then you can also spend another point, so you get 2 extra dice from blood, 1 from the tire iron, plus your regular strength. So you should have 5 dice on the damage this time, and that's a really good strike.
Yeah, I only used 4 there, but I can use another one anyway. I have 3 successes.
Okay.
And I'll just roll the final one because I had 5 from that. Right.
Yeah.
And another success. So that's 4 successes from that dash.
So yeah, the clasp, you can tell that it's snapped because there is still the light from the rear lights illuminating a little bit enough that you can tell that the mechanism is broken and the trunk is not being actively held closed by the locking mechanism.
Right. So I try to push it open.
Okay, so you can just make a straight strength roll. You've got the 2 extra dice, so that should give you 4 dice, I think.
2 success.
Okay, all right, so yeah, you're able to push the trunk open, and you can kind of see some light filtering down from above.
Well, up until now, and actually also now, I've pretty much basically been operating on instinct, I guess. So I continue to just go upwards because I want to get out of the water, and I'm not really wondering at the moment why I am not drowning and why I don't really breathe, but at the moment I'm just trying to get up. So I try to swim upwards towards the surface.
Okay, strength athletics should be an easy roll with your boosted strength.
Yeah, so that's 3 because I have -1 because I don't have any in athletics.
No, there won't be a dice penalty for athletics because
Oh,
it's
okay.
a talent.
Okay, so that's 4. 1, 2, 3 successes.
Okay. So you swim up and you emerge from the water at a boat launch, and you can see the crazed figure that put you in the trunk standing there, and he actually starts clapping his hands.
I get out of the water and get up on land, and I just stand there for what probably feels like an hour, but it's more like 10 seconds or something like that in real life. And I stare at him, and I try to think as much as I can now that I'm out of the water, and like danger is past. At least that's what I think. And finally, I call out to him, "Who are you? What am I? What did you do?"
As you start to talk, it comes out gargled, and a whole bunch of water issues out of your mouth, as you would have been pretty waterlogged.
Exactly. Yeah.
And
And
you wouldn't even have
that
been.
just freaked me out even more. Blah blah blah. And I've tried to get rid of all the water that I have, coughing up as much as I can anyway. Do vampires cough? Yeah, they can, I guess. Okay, that's what I do anyway. So I try to get all of my get the water out so I can have my voice back. And I'm when finally I'm able to, I ask the question again. Who are you? What did you do to me? What is it? What is this place? Where am I? Why did I kill that man in the trunk?
Winston, I am Seth Cardigan. I am now your new father. And you killed that creature in the trunk because that is what you do. You are now one of the horrors that stalks the nights of Zooster. And I have a lot to explain to you for your survival in the nights ahead. So come, we'll head back to your home, and I will answer most of your questions, I'm sure, and we'll lay out what you need to be aware of for your survival. And hopefully sometime soon you'll become a real person, and then your survival will be in your hands.
At first he just stands there, not really saying anything, but since he doesn't know where he is or how he got there or how he's going to get back, he decides that the best thing to do is to go along with what the man says. And if I am not entirely mistaken, he also has this sense that he cannot explain, that he needs to follow this man somehow. I'm guessing that the bond between sire and child is still there, so to speak.
Yes, and because you have not partaken in Vauldery, you would be one step bonded towards me because of my initial blood that fed you. So,
yeah.
as
So
we
he
walk
follows.
away, as we walk, I'm like, your role within our pack shall be of haven keeper. So your home is open to any member of our pack that may need to stay, and therefore, in the future, you will have some important role, at least, in our pack. But
off play. I don't have any dots in domain. Blue said that I didn't, but
that's okay.
Okay, good.
That gives you a quest to work towards then.
I have 4 freebie points left to spend, so I can spend them there if that's at some later point.
So yeah, and we can figure that out off play, but
yeah.
I think we will end this introductory scene as Seth guides his new fledgling off into the night and begins to warn him about the horrors that we are and the dangers that are out there for an unblooded Cainite. So we look forward to future nights of Winston getting his fangs wet in the Knights of Zooster. Those of you that have watched this, I hope you had some entertainment. Sorry about the technical difficulties. And we will stalk you again another day.